Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I cut and sew this back corset. This method is super easy, like very simple. I'll be showing you how I cut and how I sew it in this tutorial. So if today is your first time of watching my channel, you are welcome, and if you are a return subscriber, you are welcome as well. If today is your first time of watching my channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever I posted a new tutorial. I'll be showing you in details of how I cut it and how I cut the yoke and how I sew this particular back style step by step. Without wasting much of our time, let's get into the tutorial right now. Here is our fabric. Here is our fabric. This is it. This is for the back half length. The back half length, I'll be using this, and for the yoke, I'll be using this sample net for the yoke. For the half length, I already cut out the body. Now, the person half length is okay. Before I say that, what you need to do is to mark out the zip allowance on the half length. Just follow how I'm going to be explaining when you want to do your own. Just follow the tutorial step by step, and I promise you, you will get it at once. So I just mark out the zip allowance. Then after marking the zip allowance out, the corset we are making it with this particular pieces of fabric. I'm not joining it. I'm not going to join it at all. I'm not adding anything to it. We are doing it directly on the fabric. So I'll be showing you how I'm going to do that. This is super easy. Like, this is my method, the method I use when I want to do this. So first thing you do, after you bring out your fabric, for the yoke I remove 6 inches. The person half length is 16.5, so I remove 6 inches for the yoke. So after I remove 6 inches for the yoke, this is what I have. Here. So now, after you are done with this, the first thing you need to do is to measure the person's shoulder. This person's shoulder is 16. So 16 divided by 2 will give us 8. So after you measure the shoulder, you are going to add 1.5 or 2 inches to the person's shoulder measurement because of the eyelet back you are doing. Don't worry, you are. So like I was saying, so I already had 1.5. Then for the yoke, I said we remove 6 inches for the yoke. You can remove 6 inches or 6.5 for the yoke. So here for the armhole, I use 8 inches. You know the person's shoulder measurement is 16. 16 divided by 2 will give you 8. So that is the 8 I just measure for the armhole circumference. Then at this part, you are going to measure the person chest measurement. Now, anything you are measuring, make sure that the 1.5 inches you had for the corset back, you must return it back here. You must return it with the measurements. Otherwise, by the time you remove the corset back you are cutting from this clothes, it will not be enough. So what I did was to mark out the person chest measurement plus my normal 2-inch sewing allowance plus the 1.5 inches I am going to remove for the corset. So you are going to repeat the same thing for the waist measurement as well. Then you connect it together. So after you are done with that, the next thing we are going to do now is to cut it out. So you are going to cut it out. Can you see? So I just cut out the armhole circumference. Then I cut the chest and the waist. Then I'm going to cut out the zip allowance. So this is what you have now. this is how it's going to look like. Can you see? This is where we are going to take our corset back. Don't worry, I'm going to show you guys how you are going to go about it step by step in this tutorial. So we are done with the Ankara. Now the next thing we are going to cut now is to cut the yoke. So this is it. This is it. Just fold your fabric into two, just the way I fold it. Then we remove 6.5 for the yoke. We remove 6.5. I don't later remove 6 inches. We remove 6.5. Then you are going to add sewing allowance with it. You are still going to join it, so add your sewing allowance. Is very important. You can add 1 inches for sewing allowance because you are going to be joining it with the Ankara. After joining it, you are still going to join the shoulder as well. So for it not to be short after you are done, I will advise you add at least 1 inches to your yoke allowance. So this is it. After you are done with it, the next thing you are going to do is to make sure that you remove your 1 inches for the zip allowance, because at the hand part of the back we are going to be putting button. So for the button to lap, you have to add your 1 inches at least. Then you mark out your shoulder. For the yoke, you don't need to add 1.5 inches. The 1.5 inches that we had earlier, you don't need to add it to the yoke because we are not doing the corset back on the yoke. You understand? Just cut your normal yoke. Just cut it out. Then for the neckline, this is the zip allowance, right? So for the neckline, I'll be using 3.5. I'll be using 3.5 minus the yoke. I'll be using 3.5 by 1 inches. By 1 inches minus the zip allowance rather. Sorry for that. So this is it. Then I'll do my shoulder slope of 1 inches. Can you see that? Then at the down part of the yoke, I'm going to be designing it. So I'm going to measure here. I'll measure 1.5 at this part. Can you see? I just measure 1.5. Then at this part here, from here I'll measure 5 inches. From here you can see I just measure 5 inches. So I'm going to cut it from here depending on the back you are using. If you are doing this same back, you can follow this. If you want to do V for the back, you can do that as well. So this is how it's going to look like after we are done sewing it. This is how it's going to look like after we are done sewing it. So what we are going to do now, so we are done cutting it now. So the next thing we are going to do now is to go to the machine. We are going to go to our machine now and start sewing it step by step. So this is how you are going to place it on your machine and sew it down. Can you see that? This is how you're going to place it on your machine and sew it down. So here we are. This is it. I already cut my lining. You are going to cut lining for it, and you are going to cut your cloth stay as well. So I already cut my lining and I already cut my cloth stay. I already iron my cloth stay with it. So this is it on the table right now. So for the neckline of the yoke, we are going to be using a bias to turn. Just watch where we are going to leave this place because the neckline is turtleneck. So I'm not going to touch the neckline. I only need to turn here, only that place. So you're going to use your bias and turn this particular place. So I'm done with that now. I'm done with the back piece. So after you are done with that, the next thing you are going to do, just the way I explained to you earlier, that we are going to add the yoke to the neckline. That is what you are going to do right now. So all you need to do is to place it, just place it as shown and sew it. I'm not going to fast forward this place. I'm going to leave it so that you watch it and understand it step by step. If there is anything you don't understand in this tutorial, don't hesitate to ask any question. Ask question, I'm going to answer you sincerely. So can you see that? So just stitch it down. So after you stitch it down, then we are now going to use our lining to turn it. You are going to, before you do the corset back inside, you are going to use your lining and turn it. So this is how it's going to look like after you are done sewing it. This is how it's going to look like. This is how it's going to look like after sewing it. So at this part here, I'm going to trim it off so that it will rhyme. I'm going to trim this place off. Yes, trim it off so that it will rhyme. This is how it's supposed to look like. So you are going to repeat the same thing for the second piece as well. So this is it for the lining. So I just want to trim this off. Yeah. So we are done with this now. So the next thing we are going to do now is to start turning it with interfacing, which is our lining. So this is so here is my lining. I already my cloth stay with it as well. You are going to cut your lining. You are going to cut your gum stay with it as well. Then just the way I explained, you are going to leave the armhole when you are turning it. You will leave the armhole side. So this is it. So you are just going to be stitching it with 1/2 of an inch. Then you stitch this side as well. So this is how it's going to look like after you are done sewing it. This is how it's going to look like. Can you see? Then you are going to go ahead. Then we are going to go ahead and stitch this is the back. This is how the back will look like with your lining. Then you go ahead and stitch this side. Yeah, you are going to stitch it down. You are going to stitch that place down for a very neat finishing. Then after you are done stitching that place down, you are going to go ahead and stitch the down part as well. You are going to stitch the down part with the lining. You are going to stitch it down. You stitch it down. So after we are done with this one, this is the first piece. You are going to repeat the same thing for the second piece as well. You are going to repeat the same thing for the second. You know, back is always 2 pieces. So now, what you are going to do, this is what you want to wash. I know this is where you want to wash gong. So wash this place carefully. First thing I did was to remove the zip allowance. Then after removing the zip allowance, I measured 3 inches. So this is where my corset back will be. I first remove 1 inches for the zip allowance. Then I mark out 3 inches. I think this is okay. Then you fold it like this. Can you see the way I fold it? Then you fold it like this and stitch it with 1 inches or 1.5 inches. You know we added 1.5 inches, right? So you can stitch it with 1 inches, 1 inch and quarter, or you can use your 1.5 that you added. You can use that as well. So this is it. Can you see? This is how it's going to look like. So you are going to go ahead and stitch the down parts. You stitch it down so that it will not be flying up and down. you stitch it down, and when you are stitching, make sure that it face this zip side. Oh, don't turn it to the other, to the armhole side. No, just watch how I'm doing it anyway. Just watch how I'm doing it. Can you see? Can you see it? It's very, very simple, and it's always very okay. So you can just use this method for your back corset. This is super easy, and this is it. So you are going to repeat the same thing for the second piece as well. You are going to repeat the same thing for the second side, for the second piece as well. So this is the second piece. Just the way we do the first piece, that's why you are going to do the second piece. Can you see? I decided to show you guys the second piece so that in case maybe when I was doing the first one you don't understand it, at least by the time you watch both you will definitely understand it. So this is how it looks like. So, and this is how the back looks like. So this is it. I want to put the, this is this, we are going to put our highlights now. So I'm going to show you guys how, just how you are going to put, just normal way of putting highlights. That's how you are going to put your eyelet on this one as well. This is it. So you already mark out where you want to put your eyelets. Can you see? So you are going to cut it. This is it. So this is it. So you are going to put your, you cut it at the same time so that it will be so easy for you. Then after doing that, so I'm going to be doing, and I just want to show the back piece of this. I'm still going to be doing another tutorial of how I cut and sew the style from beginning to the end, the complete style, how you are going to make your normal bustier with your bra cup. Very simple method. I'm going to be showing you guys in my next tutorial. Just place it and place the, this is the small piece. I already put the big piece at the down part, then you put the small piece on top of it and just mash it just once or twice. It's okay. It's okay. Once or twice is okay. And so that's how you are going to do it. I'm almost done with it too. I'm almost done. So this is it. Can you see? That's how you're going to do your eyelets step by step. And this is it after I'm done fixing my highlights. This is how it looks like. Can you see? It's very simple. So, and you are going to fix your zip allowance. You are going to fix your zip at the end of the day, and you are going to do your, and this is it. This is our style after making it. This is how it looks like, and this is the back piece. Let me turn it so that you will see the back piece. This is the back piece. This is how it looks like. Then you are going to insert your rope. This one now, when you wear it, you can wear it outside, then you later find someone to help you and do your rope, not like the normal one that you need somebody to definitely help you and do the rope inside. You understand? So thank you guys for watching my tutorial. God bless you, and see you in the part 2 of this, because in the part 2 I'm going to be showing you guys how I cut and sew the whole dress step by step. See you guys in my next tutorial. God bless you. Bye bye.